Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Morphtronic Man.
And I'm Cryptic Shark.
And today we're doing a deck profile.
Yeah, what deck profile are we doing though?
We're doing my Madolches! Woo!
I thought they were my Madolches.
No, they're not your Madolches. We did your deck profile last time.
You've
had two deck profiles. It's my time to shine.
You mean it's not my deck profile this time?
No!
Oh wow.
It's my time. Yes, and I'm using the lovely, cuddly, cakey, wakey Madolches.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to start off. And I run 25 monsters, so we'll start there, because it seems like a good place to start.
Could I say, I'm impressed you know how many monsters you have in your...
Thank you.
I can tell you how many I have.
I'm going to start by saying how many I run of each. Anyway, right, I run 3 Madolche Magdalene. I know that is not how you pronounce it. I do not care. It's what I've always called her, and it is what I always will call her.
Yeah.
I run her because, well, she's a level 4 Madolche, so she goes to my main boss monster, who you will see later. And she's just searches out any Madolche, regardless of his attack or defense points, in my deck. And she's brilliant. She's not as good now with the Ultimate Offerings band, but I still love her, and she's riding a fork, which makes her awesome.
You realise you got her band, right?
I didn't get her band, I got Ultimate Offering band. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right, next is a relatively recent Madolche, 3 Madolche Hootcakes. This little bad boy, wearing his pimp-ass glasses and hat, hipster hooter, he basically banishes any monster in the graveyard to summon a Madolche monster from my deck. This is a great plus because I don't lose anything and I gain a monster who, if it's next guy, will allow me to search stuff.
Well, one of the best things is the banished monster combos really well with Levia because you can go into Levia with Hootkick because it's a level 3. The
also thing to note with this card is the banishing does not a cost, it targets in the grave, and then once the effect goes, then it banishes. So if they Veiler it, your monster still stays in the graveyard.
Oh wow.
Right. Next, I run 3 Madolche Messenger Latos. Dun dun dun! Running 3? Anyway, I'll just give a quick explanation as what this guy does. When he's special summoned, if there's a Madolche Beast-type monster on the field, you get to search out a Madolche spell or trap card. The Beast monster has to be on the field at activation and resolution to get this effect. So there you go. Just a little
so if you do torrential the field, you don't get the effect.
Or if you compulse the Beast monster and there's no other Beast Madolche there, he doesn't get the effect either. But if you get rid of him, you still do get the effect, if there was a Madolche Beast. But he's also great because he's a level 4, which goes for my boss monster. And he's got not bad attack points, but, you know. Now, a lot of Madolche players say only run 2. Normally I'd agree with them, but my deck is a very fast-paced, OTK-based deck, and I need to run 3 of him because I constantly summon him from the deck. And so if I draw 1 and only run 2, then I won't be able to pull off my combo, basically. That's why I run 3. And then my last Madolches, well, in the main deck, are 2 Madolches Mufaleli. This little lovely cat lets me special summon a Madolche monster from my hand. Great to perform my OTK, which involves a Mufaleli, Hootcake, a monster in the grave, and any other level 3 on the field.
Also, it's sitting on a pancake.
Sitting on a pancake?
A pancake
sandwich.
That
makes it awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, and she is also combos well with Messenger Latte if I just want to just get some searching on, because Madolche Mufaleli is a Madolche Beast monster.
Alright.
That's all the Madolches I run. And now onto the other elements. Dun dun dun. Right. Psychic element. 2 Serene Psychic Witches and an Esper Girl. I run Psychics. No, this is a Madolche deck. But what this does is, a Serene Psychic Witch is a level 3, which allows me to go for my OTK. She's also got an effect that when she's destroyed on the field, she can basically let me get Psychic Monster next turn. And Esper Girl is great because being a tuner Earth Tuner allows me to go for some certain Naturia synchros who, well, really lock down plays and are really good. And also, she's a great plus through Serene.
Yeah.
Next up are 2 Spell Strikers.
But wait a minute, you run the Psychic variant.
I run a mishmash of monsters. No!
Yeah.
Basically, this guy's great because just have to have a spell card in the graveyard, banish it, and you special summon him. And he's searchable through reinforcements of the army. Just a really good card for the
And
combos.
level 3, so works for the OTK.
And next, I run 2 Redox, Dragon Ruler of Boulders.
Boo!
Boo, Dragon Rulers, but no, this guy is great. I don't use his effect much to special summon himself, but I do use that if they play Skill Drain against me, because having a 3,000 defense point wall is always fun. But he does allow me that if I have a Hootcake in my hand and a monster in the grave, just to send Redox and Hootcake to the grave to use his effect to special summon Hootcake back. And if I banish him through Hootcake, I get to add the other Redox, so just a good combos there. Lets me basically redo my plays if the first one gets stopped. And the other way I can get out level 3s is through Gallus, the Star Beast. This guy is guaranteed hoot cake food, because either he'll use his effect and send himself to the grave if you mill a spell or trap, or he'll send another monster and cause a nice little bit of damage.
And special summon himself out. So it's level 3 on the field.
Which helps with my OTK. Next are 2 card Ds. This guy is a relatively recent addition. Basically, it just is a good opening play because this deck has a little bit of a consistency issue. But this guy's really helped with that because it's just, he's food for hoot cake, he makes himself food, and you get to draw 2 cards. There's very few downsides to this, as you don't really special summon turn 1, because it's all about exploding in 1 turn type thing. You don't need a lot of setup.
Yeah, but when you set up, you go for it. Sort of the reason.
And now we move on to the hand traps. I run 2 Maxi, just because, well, special summoning is a thing. He's an Earth for Redox, and I can throw him at any time, even in my turn, for food for hoot cake. And then the other 2 are 2 effect bearers, because stopping your opponent's effects always nice things.
Yeah.
And also, it's a level 1 tuner, just because, why not? That's all the monsters. Like I said, I run 25. And next we are moving on to the spell cards, in which I run 12.
Oh, wow.
1 Madolche Chateau.
1 Chateau?
Chateau.
But you're running a Madolche deck. You should have at least 2 Chateau.
Now, people will think, right, you run 1 Chateau, you probably run 1 ticket. Well, I'll just tell you now, I only run 1 ticket. Now, the reason I only run 1 a week each is because I use these to achieve my OTK. I don't really use these... Okay, yes, using them midway through the game is great because they help you plus, but their main benefit is to be there to help the OTK, because Chateau gives me more attack points. Ticket, when I have a Fairy Madolche on the field, lets me special summon a monster straight from my deck when her effect goes off. So that's why they're there. They're not there to really help me through the mid-game. They're there to finish the opponent off.
But still, they are great pluses, and in grind games, you will use them to win.
Exactly. Next, I run 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. The reason I don't run the third is because this deck is really tight on space. But basically, you don't use these to pop random back row. Unless you're going for game and they only have 1 back row down, you save these for Fiendish Chains, Skill Drains, Iron Walls, Rivalries, all that stuff, or their field spells.
Anything which is going to hurt the deck rather than just throwing the MSTs blindly.
Exactly. And also good just random food for Spell Striker, in all honesty. Next, I run 2 Pot of Dualities. The reason I don't run the third is because this deck does special summon a lot, but it needs just this little bit of a boost. It's really great to play with Karkar as well, just to search out hoot cakes, or Magdalene who can search out hoot cakes. And that really just progresses the deck.
Yeah.
And more food for Spell Striker. 1 Dark Hole, because blowing up your opponent's field is always handy.
Can win games through it, just throw Dark Hole, tap the game.
2 E-Tellies,
Well,
emergency teleports for the Serene Psychic Witches, just to special summon out a level 3 easily, but also just to create synchro plays nice and easily with Esper Girl.
Why not the third, though?
I used to run 3, but honestly I've taken 1 out just because I prefer to have lots of diverse plays and versatility much rather than concentrating on 1 element, because only running 3 Psychics in the deck,
If you draw into 1.
Yeah, you can run out pretty quickly. 1 Reinforcements of the Army, mainly used for Spell Striker to special summon himself, but also you can add Messenger Gelato if you're going for a Mute Messenger Gelato play, just to get little easy searches off, basically. Or if you have Redox in your hand and you want to summon a Messenger Gelato, get Messenger Gelato with Reinforcements.
Yeah.
Easy way. Next, I run Instant Fusion. Only 1. Like I said, with only running 2 E-Tellies, I like lots of versatile ways of getting monsters out. This just lets me get out my level 3 Fusion monster to go for the OTK combos.
So this is all about the OTK.
All about the OTKs. And then lastly, Double Summon. I normally side this out during games 2 and 3, but it's good because you get Magdalene, summon Magdalene, use her effect, search out Hoot Cake, use Double Summon Hoot Cake, banish Messenger Gelato, you got a Queen.
And you can easily just go Magdalene, Double Summon, Magdalene.
Yep.
And Queen.
It's just nice and helpful, really.
Yeah.
And those were all the spell cards. And lastly, for the main deck, we move on to the traps. I only run 3 trap cards. First one, Madolche Palooza. Great way of reoccurring your play. If your opponent goes, right, I've stopped you now with an effect bailer or something, or a effect bailer, yeah. Then you go, haha, Madolche Palooza, summon out my hand.
And if you want to deck him out, Palooza might help. So yeah.
And it just really crushes their spirits, and it's searchable through Messenger Gelato. So basically it means that if you don't OTK them, you've got this in your hand, so you could make basically plays next turn. Or it's just a defensive tool. And then I run 2 Threatening Roars. I run these over Mirror Force because I prefer to completely just protect my monsters and stop them from attacking me, much rather than risking them having a Stardust Dragon, Zen Mains, or something that can avoid destruction altogether. Yeah, it's very chainable, and it just basically helps me last throughout the game.
And why Threatening Roar over Wabaku?
Because Threatening Roar stops them attacking completely, which...
That's Glad Beast and Tyrus and stuff like that.
Exactly. And Madolche Pudding Cess.
Ooh. Alright.
That was the main deck, 40-card main deck. And next we're going to move on to the extra deck. Fusion Monsters! 1 Fusionist. For instant fusion, she's a level 3, which helps me achieve my OTK. Simple as. Next, the Synchros. Ally of Justice Catastor. Level 5, gets over stuff that I can't beat over normally, basically. Or if I don't have a queen, helps out then. Naturia Beast. Lockdown spell card. Dark Worlds and Prophecy hate this person, but you want to be very careful when you're playing him. He might seem like a good idea, but he's actually not that difficult to get over, so you've got to make sure you're protecting with either Veilers or Threatening Roars, otherwise you'll just waste him.
Yeah, he's only got 2200 attack, and in the meta game at the moment, 2200 is nothing.
No, not really. Next, Barkion. You'll go for this guy a lot more than you will for Beast. I'll try and see if you can see him. Yep, there you go. Because basically what this guy does is he locks down their traps, which means that your OTK are almost safe. But also, if they need to stop him, then he draws out trap cards that would normally stop your main boss monster. And that's why he's good. That's all the Synchros. Exceeds. 2 Invoker. This is part of the OTK. Overlay the 2 level 3s. Detach the Madolche monster, so you've got targets in the grave for the boss monster, which I won't reveal yet, even though you probably know what it is. 7 out Messengelato, who just, he's the main tool in the combo.
Basically gets a level 4 from the deck, and boss monster, as you've already said.
Levier, because you can banish your Madolches through Hoot Cake, and this guy just lets you get them straight back, or nick your opponent's stuff just for lols.
If you've already summoned out all your Messengelatos, or they're in your hand, if you've got 1 banished, it's just a nice way of getting a level 4 Madolche.
Yep. Then we've got Soul of Silver Mountain. I really like this guy because, a lot like Barkion, he forces your opponent to use their back row, because otherwise you just lock it down. But also, 1800 attack points isn't bad, and if you beat over one of their monsters, you get a free one.
From the grave?
Yeah, which can basically just help out.
It's a level 4 allure, isn't it?
No, it's just 1 Earth monster. I could summon a Redox with this guy if I really wanted to.
Oh, wow. It's quite impressive.
Next, I run Leviathan Dragon. This guy just helps you run over problem monsters like Pleiades or that such, because 2500 attack points just kind of forces them to make plays.
Forces them to detach and return the monster, or just take the attack and...
He's probably my least exceeded monster, as in I don't go into him as much, but he's still just useful to have. Now, my second favourite Exceed in the deck, Asagolem. I love this guy. He lets you get over... What's that? What's the Mermaid Exceed monster?
Gaius.
Yeah, basically, you hate that card to death with this deck. This guy lets you get over him really easy, because you can summon level 3s like no tomorrow. And he's just like, smash. And also, people like to play skill drain against you, you go, Asagolem, and they go, crap. Awesome card. And if you need to get rid of him, you've got Dark Cult, or you can just tribute summon Redox. Other stuff like that. Next, Gargoyle Cowboy.
Whoa, he's not in defense position.
Boom!
Yeah.
That 800 damage wins games.
Yeah.
Also, that effect isn't bad either, to be quite honest.
Both effects just will win you games. I mean, you've got the attack effect, which basically will get over up to 3,000 beat sticks, and the defense position burning for 800 damage.
Exactly. Mainly the defense effect, but he's just a really good card. Abyss Dweller, because Mermails just Dark Worlds go away.
Dragon Rulers.
Dragon Rulers, yeah, but in all honesty, if you're having some Abyss Dweller out, you probably lost against Dragon Rulers. But he is helpful.
He is helpful. He can win games.
He's very good.
Late game, Abyss Dweller would completely destroy Dragon Rulers.
I didn't have him for a while. Then I played a MMO player and went, I really wish I had him. And now that's why he's in the deck, basically. Next, Milestroke, the Symphony Jin, because he's basically, a lot like Cowboy, he's a wall. Or he just lets you go like that and flip one of your monsters into one of your opponent's monsters face down defense, which can help you beat over them or get rid of some really irritating effect, like Zen mains if you want to dark hole the field, or basically if you want to run into their back row and you're like, I don't really want to run into a Mirror Force and die. You run into the Mirror Force, but you don't die. It's great. And then lastly, 2 Madolche Queen Tiara Masu. This is your main play, your boss monster. She is the answer to almost literally everything.
In the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes. No, everything.
In life.
In life. She is your answer. Basically, she detaches to, as long as you've got Madolche targets in the grave, detaches, add it back to your deck or your hand if you've got Chateau on the field, and return 2 of your opponent's cards on the field to their deck. And you don't target your opponent's cards. So
you only target your cards in the grave.
Yeah, so they have to basically activate any of their back row the moment you activate their effect, and then you can just pick the targets that they don't activate.
We should add that it can only add the monsters back to hand, not the spell and trap cards. They
True.
go back to the deck.
But you run so few spell and trap cards in the deck that hopefully you've got them on Ticket and Chateau on the field to achieve this OTK. Because when you've got Ticket on the field of her, you get to special summon a monster from your deck once you use their effect, basically. Just really good card. And is the key to the whole deck, really.
If you get that out and can get the effect off, you will decimate your opponent.
Major pluses. Right, and lastly, going to just quickly show off the side deck. Not going to go too much into detail because it will constantly change throughout the meta and different formats. First, 3DD Crow, because I hate Dark Worlds, always. Hate Fire Kings, but also just good against Dragon Rulers at the moment because it's just, you activate your effect in the grave, detach, banish you. They might get a plus if they haven't already used someone to do. No, they won't because they've activated their effect. Yeah. So just
that and what's the other decks which are big? Insectors.
And Insectors, yeah. Or Mermels you could side it against, but I don't normally. Also, Food for Hoot Cake because you can basically throw it at any time and it's pretty awesome. Next, 1 Chateau. Basically to help in field spell wars against stuff like Gravekeepers or Dark Worlds or Prophecies, but also just if you're running into heavy back row decks, it's good just to keep your your pluses up and to
wear down their resources.
Yeah, beat over your opponent basically. Next, 3 Soul Taker. I really like this card because it lets you get rid of problem monsters. This deck has a major thing against Thunder King Ryu, really hates that card, or Kaiku, but also against Constellas, which are a particularly bad matchup for Madolches, especially because of this man sitting next to me. Soul Taker just lets you get rid of Pleiades. And also misses the timing for stuff like Pulsar Dragon. Sure, you give them 1,000 life points, but well worth it. And I think it's better than Smashing Ground. 1 Typhoon to get rid of those skill drained rivalries and other stuff that's going to really irritate you. 1 Book of Moon. Use it a lot like Soul Taker, but also it can protect your monsters. Oh, and also like I keep forgetting the Mermail's name, but helps you basically counter Gaius. Next, the trap cards. 3 Goes and Match. Basically, you're all Earth, everything's Earth apart from a few things in this extra deck, and yeah, it just screws with decks that aren't all one type attribute.
Hurts Dragon Rules quite a bit.
Next, 1 Trap Stun, just because you have some problems against heavy back row decks, and this just lets you. This can't be. MST basically can't stop this, and it's just a good way of OTKing in 1 turn. But then I also run 2 Royal Decrees, much for the same reason of Trap Stun. Yes, it can be MST'd, but it just lasts until they get rid of it. And you run so few trap cards, it doesn't really hurt you much. And yeah, that is the deck. Haven't really got much else to say about it, other than OTK like no tomorrow.
Yeah. How's your OTKs going against me, by the way?
No, well, normally I'd get OTK game too, but we haven't been doing that recently.
No.
I've been learning other ways to use the deck. You don't always have to OTK. You can outlast your opponent for other ways, but OTK is the main point of the deck.
All right. So that's your Madolches.
Woo! Finally. Anyway, and yeah, any questions? Just leave a comment. Yeah, thank you for watching.
I'm Grippy Shaw.
And I'm Morphtronic Man, and we'll see you next time.